What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Round 5 commentary with your boy Sparky. I'm here with my boy Victor. Victor, how are we doing today?
We're doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I know it's not up on the screen yet, but neither of these decks are prowess or energy. We got Cory
Holy
and
shit.
Steve. We got we got Cory and Steve today. Cory is playing Eldrazi Ramp, and Steve is on Domain Zoo.
Did Cory borrow this deck from a certain other local patron that comes in all the time?
I'm not sure. There's a possibility he did.
Those sleeves have a very familiar look to them, and I was just wondering. But I'll save that investigation for later.
Yeah. Steve starts off with Leyline into Ragavan.
Okay, we figured out one of them. How assumptive of our spotter? Who said that was Domain Zoo? Maybe they
I
just like those cards.
yeah, I'm not 100% certain. Cory just had land pass.
Yeah, assuming well, it's definitely Eldrazi.
Based off the cards in their hand, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't see if there was anything that was eligible. That is sometimes something weird that does tend to happen. Where
I think he's
you're just
I think
stuck
he's
with
gonna
all
find a
these.
commercial. God.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was to say sometimes you're just playing Eldrazi ramp and you have Ugin's Labyrinth in your hand. You're like, oh great, and then you forget that the deck has become so mid-rangey and so much lower in certain cost values that you're like, oh wait, I forgot I don't have any way to like turn this on immediately, and
Yeah.
now it's that much harder for Cory to deal with the board because now he has to get rid of the ley line to do anything else, and
Yeah.
that's probably not happening soon enough.
Yeah, and it would seem as though it didn't really matter what he would like if he played Temple on turn one. There wasn't anything he could have done different. It looks like he's
Yeah,
trying
that's
to line
true.
up for a Chrysalis play, but
Well,
we have the Wombo combo right now.
uh,
And K command from Cory here, I think before blockers. I'm not sure if he even wants to block. It looks like
no, you don't want to block. There's no point.
yeah.
I mean,
It looks like Steve has a consign lined up in his hand. I don't think we care about this spell here, to be honest.
no, you don't care. You're also kind of fiending for mana a little bit. So if anything, I'd rather have the treasure maybe deal with whatever the follow-up turn is. This is so inconsequential that
Ships to the bottom, draws for the scry. Is he going to take the 6?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Take 6, go 11, trigger Ragavan. I gain 6, I go to 26.
I think there was a missing from the life total because there was a miss from that fetch. Cory should be at 11 here.
No worries. We'll try to keep everyone at home. Hopefully, it doesn't matter.
It's not our token, but I do like the treasure token with the lotus petal look.
This card is supposed
that is pretty cool.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to confirm. Yeah. Okay. Because it's literally like.
All right, so everyone's borrowing decks at this point.
Just want to confirm.
I don't think it was the Indothitrium that he was asking about.
I'll play a second slam.
Man, Steve's really just saying.
Yeah, I don't mind this here. Yeah, there's no way for Cory to line up in all his dust on this turn because he only has 4. He'd be able to go to 5-6 mana.
Cory I don't like this. 10.
I think this is a writhing.
Oh, this could be a Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not terrible.
Being that your creatures have first strike, I think it's fine if we have like a removal spell.
Well, here's the thing. You don't... Oh, it's a 2/3, right? From the get-go?
Yeah.
So...
Card is strong.
You know what is actually kind of crazy now? So
Could be 10.
Yeah, should be 10.
Steve could
Counter the trigger.
no,
So,
nah, never. Well, unless for some reason Cory miscommunicates how he's sacking them and puts it all in the stack at once. You could, in theory, counter 2 of the triggers or 3 of the triggers since he has the land, and then
That's
it's
fair.
only a 3/4.
I think he's just running the permutations here of how we get in best.
Well, the flage is interesting, right? Because if he flages, then Cory is going to sacrifice at least one of the spawns,
Yeah.
which means it's one less blocker because it. Well, he's only got the one blocker anyway. I mean, the thing has reach, so it doesn't make a difference.
So theoretically, let's say we play this flage right, and we target the chrysalis. We sack one spawn. He can still block the Ragavan profitably.
Okay. Trigger. Target.
I'll respond. Yep. Sack.
Sure.
Atacolas.
Okay. I gain 3.
You're actually going to gain 6 here, big dog.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if Steve doesn't play a lot of those mains, a lot of times people will forget that.
10. Combat.
Yeah, he forgot it, but
Still have one floating, right?
Yep.
oh, I see what he's gonna do. Okay.
These 2.
Sure.
Do you have any responses? I'll do them individually.
Nope.
1, 2.
No, I'm
Still 3. I'll Kozilek's command. I'll exile and add a Eldrazi spawn. I'll exile your face.
That actually is a pretty smart heads up, because now what? That's going to become a.
6. So, combat.
Yeah, so your phage is exile.
Yeah, that's exile.
This has how much damage on it?
That's 3 damage.
3 damage, okay.
Okay, so,
Alright.
Those have vigilance.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess it doesn't, just to show who's coming in or not.
No, I'll just attack for. Sorry, they have vigilance. Attack for 8 in the air. Strike.
Here.
Oh, okay. Okay, you had me at
So if you block, your creature just dies to the first strike damage.
Let's see.
Oh, I swear you're saying.
What, it's got 3 counters on it now, so it's a 5/6 with 3 damage marked on it.
Yeah.
You sack, it would be a 6/7. Yeah, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
2 cards.
Yeah, you're gonna lose it. So
If I don't block, I'm dead to the tribal flames.
hopefully Steve doesn't forget that part.
Okay.
Alright, take 4.
Go 6.
Yep.
And I gain 8.
Yes.
I go to 40. Go.
All right.
So now we got to be wary. Now we got to be wary about this. So this is why I think the flage plays a little ballsy, because all this does here is just fucking gangbusters for us, right?
It's
gonna
think
bust up absolutely everything we have going on.
I honestly think that with the current list, Steve's usually. I know Steve doesn't always pay attention, but there's the chance of the Always Dust being in the deck is very low, especially when they're not playing the creature tribal variation.
Mm-hmm.
So when your opponent is presenting the ramp variation, I think it's okay to just make them have it at that point.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana.
World Breaker, and I'll exile.
This is gonna cost you that Eldrazi spawn, my guy.
I'll pass her.
2, 4, 5. Yeah. There was a miscount there, unfortunately, that both players missed.
These things happen. You shouldn't be forced to play your opponent's deck.
I have to.
Okay, that was good by Cory to.
Yeah, so we just have lethal with.
Yeah, so you're just.
Yeah.
What was that?
I have you at 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
All right. Well. Okay.
I didn't know.
Well, between that and the miss thing, at least it was all
honest guy Cory over here.
Do that,
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Always want to try to keep it honest.
You good? It's late.
Bringing all them stone rains. I could not
So
tell what that.
I think those cards were Nature's Claim that he's bringing in.
Well, that's a good one to have.
Yeah. I think it's at least a decent one. I think there's also a line to bring in like what's the -5? I'm just blanking.
Dismember.
Yeah. Which member?
Which member? Dismember.
I think that's a decent one to do, especially if he's just going to sideboard pretty lightly. It's pretty nice. Steve's looking at a couple cards. I think he's pulling some bolts out. He's pulling out a bolt and a Fable the Mirror Breaker.
So just to talk about some, because I think you and I enjoy some statistics.
Sure.
If your opponent is playing mono green, including the Urza's lands, then you're probably safe to assume that they do in fact have All Is Dust. In the decks that are playing Eldrazi ramp, specifically the green, red, and blue variations.
Yeah.
Of the decks that I'm looking at, none of them play it so far. Now there's probably some outliers and there's probably some people playing it, but it looks very unlikely if they are showing green, red, X ramp that they're gonna have the All Is Dust.
Got it. That's just something that crosses my mind, having played the format a little bit. Like, you will have players, I know there's some local players that we have like that are hard to give up on certain cards in the matchups, and like will in those outliers have have All Is Dust or as like a 1 of or 2 of, or like out of the sideboard.
Yeah, I think it's tough there because if you wait for the All Is Dust, I think Steve would be short a lot of damage at that point. And I think because All Is Dust is such, at most, no deck plays more than 2 All Is Dust. If someone's playing 3 to 4 All Is Dust in their mono green Eldrazi variation, it is what it is. You can't let that be representative or form a bias of, oh, I shouldn't have made that play, because most of the time, or way more often than not, that is still the correct thing to do. So I think that just playing this whole, Steve just saying, have whatever you have is probably fine.
Yeah. This time we're looking at Cory on the play, and I think he has an Abundant Growth. No,
Utopia Sprawl.
Utopia Sprawl, yeah.
Don't worry, I miss Urion too. I guess he did not like. I guess he didn't have any payoff, which also happens a lot.
I mean, he may have had cards he just didn't have. He may not have had colorless. I think he just had all the colored side of that deck, with not ways to make the colorless for like a K command or something.
It was hard to tell. I did see a lot. I saw a double Utopia Sprawl Forest, so definitely doesn't present a lot of colorless mana, but
both going to 6 here. I do think the mulligan favors Steve a little bit, being the aggressive deck. But we shall see. Steve brought in all of his blue cards, like his 1-drops, so whatever remaining consigns were in his sideboard, and Stubborn Denial. And I believe he cut some bolts and some fables. Notably, Steve has a consign in the opener. Huge.
I wonder if he brought in Clarion Conquer. It doesn't seem like a bad threat to have. That also just sometimes catches your opponent off guard.
Yeah.
I am red.
Ooh, baby.
Go.
No ley line from Steve's side. Pass it over to Cory. He could go Soul Land, but he's going to play a fetch. Leave up mana for Kozilek's Return. So this is an interesting 6 that I think Cory kept, because I think this one lacks payoffs as well, but has more of the lands for the setup. Because it looks like 2 Soul Lands and another fetch. So I think he's heavily relying on this commercial district that he's probably going to fetch up. And if Steve drops his Kavu, I think the jig might be up.
Yeah, but I mean, Cory, if he does find a command, he's gonna be in decent shape because that's already. So if he goes and gets the commercial district surveils, next turn he gets the command for 3. Then after that, it's command for 5. I mean, that can easily take over the game depending on if he can line it up. And I mean, I've seen the and the other lands of Bajuka Bug. I've seen plenty of times where Eldrazi decks can simply just line that up where they're just cheating those off and then the game's over because their mana acceleration exponentially increased at that point.
Yeah, I can understand that. We'll see what the surveil yields for us. I don't know, Victor. I don't know if your summary of this deck being lamped by somebody is that true because the corners look pristine.
Oh, I'm looking at like if you look at the top side, they look like I'm just gonna say they look like Mickey's. That looks like Mickey's deck because of the corners.
I actually think it looks actually pretty pristine. I think it's just the camera with some of the light and some of the reflection. Yeah.
Oh, I've played against Mickey enough times to
the camera's
recognize corners.
playing
So
tricks on us right now. Ooh, and we got a stubby D as the draw from Steve over here, alongside a consign. This game might be all wrapped up here because I think he's just going to protect the queen with this Kavu.
Just making it a little bit harder for the possibility of Emrakul.
Yeah, just 4 swings and then just whittle down the if you don't want to trade any cards in your hand, which I don't think he does. He's got Stubby D, Fable, Lightning Bolt, Consign, and Tribal Flames.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So one thing that Cory maybe could have done just to hedge. No, the consignment he would. Okay, Steve has enough mana to cover it. I was thinking he could have Kozilek's return, or what is it? Right, it's return when it's the 3-mana one. Yeah, he could have done it end of turn to then have the trigger to have it come back. But Steve has consign with 3 mana. It would have still picked off everything. So
yeah.
Either way, unfortunately for Cory, Steve had him covered.
Yeah, there was definitely a lane for that to happen. If Steve here misses a land drop, but the efficiency of this zoo deck that we've been seeing over the last couple weeks and how good it is at just dealing with Izzet Prowess and Boros Energy, just absolutely wrecking face.
I did happen to play against someone who was online. I don't remember their username, but they were playing Cecil Dark Knight as well. I did see that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, from the Final Fantasy side, I've seen a few people use it. With the cards in his hand, Cory is effectively at 1. Steve having a Lightning Bolt and a Tribal Flames. Can Cory dig himself out of this hole? I think he's going to need a spectacular top deck.
Yep, 14.
I bet Cory's sitting here wishing he had the One Ring in his deck.
Interesting.
I like this play.
No, actually, this makes more sense than anything else. You don't need to force through the damage. You don't have the win yet anyway.
Yeah, and you have Stubby D for whatever is the problem.
Well, it's a nature's claim. I don't know if that's going to do enough of anything though. What, you just blow up the Fable just because?
I'll be honest. I think you blow up your own sprawl, keep your life total high.
Yeah,
it might be a reactive one. Yeah. And if you're gonna do that, I would use the forest to cast the talisman.
play Talisman.
Yeah, I don't. Especially with Eldrazi ramp, I don't like using your soul lands to tap for the artifact because it kind of just says I don't have the cards.
Yeah, you're basic. That's a telegraph here. This is the bleeding information stuff that me and Victor have talked about multiple times. You just told your opponent I don't have K command in my hand. Tapping your lands that way.
Trigger Fable.
Here's a question for you, and this is semi-unrelated to the matchup that's going on in front of us, but more about cards in general because I'm reading Cecil since I had thought about it. How do you feel about cards having names for abilities that don't actually like go across all cards? Like, for example, Cecil has Darkness, which then says the rest of his ability. Does that drive you nuts, or is it just me?
So I think flavor wise for cards like the Final Fantasy cards, which are like calling out attacks that they have and stuff like that, I think it's fine.
Trigger, exile the turn.
Yep.
I don't know if I like it. Well, and that's that.
Oh, that was a quick one. Blink and you'll miss a matchup. Steve showing that prowess of just, playing good cards with good timing. That's all for us today, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Have you played Modern for a while? I noticed the Wooded Foothills.
So
kind of well loved.
No. Okay. This isn't my deck. I ordered this deck and didn't come in time, so someone had let me play a third version.
Oh, nice.
Which doesn't even play the Sire, which is bad. They need the Sire for sure.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell. And if you'd like to support us, you could find us at our Bonfire store.
And a huge thank you to our sponsors, Nova Games and Brick, for hosting us for FNM. And please make sure to use our Mana Traders coupon code OCHM at signup for 25% off your third month.
I've been Sparky. Say goodbye, Victor.
Goodbye, Victor.